Waluigi's real. He's not. Waluigi's real. He's not. What? He's real!
They're on to me, dude. These guys are sharp as nails in here. Man, you can't put anything past them. My God, dude, I'm freaking out. I'm stressed out. I feel like I'm having a panic attack.
You want to talk about stress, okay? You want to talk about stress? Okay? I've stumbled onto a major video game conspiracy, Jack. How's that for stress?
What the hell are you talking about?
This franchise is being led like a stuffed pig, Jack, and I got a paper trail to prove it. Check this out. Take a look at this.
Jesus Christ, Adam.
There right there's the game. Now let's talk about the game. Can we talk about the game, please, Jack? I'm dying to talk about the game with you all day, okay? Waluigi. His name keeps coming up over and over again every day while his game keeps tormenting me. Waluigi, Waluigi. I look online, this whole forum is Waluigi! So I say to myself, I gotta find this guy. I gotta go up to that fourth entrance and put his key in the guy's goddamn door. Otherwise, he's never gonna get out. He's gonna keep sending me clues. So I go up to Waluigi's door, and what do I find out, man? What do I find out? There is no Waluigi. The band does not exist, okay? So I decide, shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper. There's no Waluigi. You gotta be kidding me. I got boxes full of Waluigi.
Playing Super Mario 64 is like driving a car. You never forget. Yeah, something ain't right. I feel like no one can deny the mastery in Super Mario 64's design. Like, whoever made it, props, dude. It influenced so many titles and defined a genre. But wait, I mean, we all know this. What I'm more interested in is how Super Mario 64 is a super weird game when you really put it all into perspective. I mean, see what I mean? Like what the fuck is this? You see, with Super Mario 3D All-Stars coming out a few months ago, we're seeing the first official re-release of 3 Mario games, Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, which is crazy because that's like never really happened, you know? Unless you count the GBA ports, which were more often than not remakes, but in the case of Mario World and Yoshi's Island were more just ports. Just doesn't feel like that big of a deal, probably because I grew up with those more than the original versions of those games. And you know, also unless you count Virtual Console, which again, I'll be honest, I'm not inclined to. You know, it just doesn't have the re-release vibe. Like, this was a whole ass event, so much so that it was legitimately like limited. Man, who even plays their Wii U anymore? I feel like it yearns to be played with, like that one really sad scene of Jessie under the bed in Toy Story 2. But I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'll get dust on my hands, gross. But I mean, at the same time, I have no idea where my original Wii is, so I mean, it is my only real method of playing Wii games these days. So here we go. All right. Yeah, this is painful in more way than one. But with most everyone that cares really having played it again, I think we can all agree, Super Mario 64 has this bizarre, esoteric vibe to it. It feels so much grander than it really is, almost larger than life, and the fact that it's full of secrets absolutely helps that. And no, we ain't just talking about the 5 in the shallows in the sky here. There are so many things that Super Mario 64 requires you to consider normal that we don't think about as strange today. Jumping through large paintings to be transported to huge, seemingly isolated environments, the existence of multiple hidden stages and unknown areas to uncover, just the vibe of Wet Dry World, and certain anomalies like a big-ass slide, sunlight which teleports you to a sky castle, and a cannon outside the castle which never seems to open up no matter what you do. Oh yeah, and the fact that there's just a huge tree clock on the 3rd floor, like hello? The 3rd floor's architecture seems to make the least sense of the entire castle, honestly. Like, why are there 2 alcoves with holes that both lead to worlds in the sky? While we now know basically everything there is to know about Super Mario 64, thanks to players' guides, people exploring every nook and cranny it has to offer, and the recent leaks from Nintendo which people scoured over and discovered plenty of new things, as well as channels like Boundary Break who go above and beyond to explore outside the usual game's parameters. But even with all this knowledge, there's still just something off about it, you know? I mean, there's so many things in games that are unintentionally creepy, and I'd argue that Super Mario 64, as well as its DS remake, totally fit the bill. Like, people still don't know what the f that Wario apparition was about in that 1996 E3 Nintendo panel. Like, floating Wario head? I mean, sure. I refuse to believe that was an isolated incident. Wario's in the code, bro. I'd believe it. Okay, now that's a little intrusive. I don't like this. And all this is before even any mention of the biggest one around, L is Real 2401. If you were around online anywhere looking at things gaming related in the late 90s and early 2000s, this was an unavoidable topic. People were rabid about this and still are. I mean, hell, just last year, 24 years and 1 month later, by the way, Luigi was discovered to have been programmed into an early beta version of Super Mario 64 back in the July leaks. It's insane to me that there was at one point legitimately a plan to put Luigi in the game. I mean, I feel like we all knew that was probably the case, but to have it confirmed is just, that's something else. There have always been numerous rumors as to how to go about unlocking Luigi, some of which were collecting literally every coin in the game, running laps around certain objects or landmarks, and collecting every single power star within some ambiguous time limit. Even though completely unsubstantiated, the absolute amount of these rumors brought forth that on November 13th of 1996, IGN actually offered a $100 bounty to anyone who could legit prove their claim, but of course, it went unawarded. I still can't read anything on this plaque, but L is real 2401. I know many have said it's actually Eternal Star, but I'm not buying that. That's too convenient. But in 1998, an official statement from Nintendo, presumably due to an influx of messages about the plaque, admitted that it was intentionally illegible. But I'm a believer, dude, especially with the timing of last year's leak. Like, that's psychotic. 24 years and 1 month later, Luggy finally made his way out. Okay, is there somebody I can call about this, or? But just as Mario 64 had risen to prominence, it kind of fell into mystery and mystique as time progressed. I myself never had a chance to really dig into the title as a kid, because I was born 6 months after it came out. But footage of it always made me uneasy for some reason. Early 3D renders and projects would do that to me when I was a kid. I remember being incredibly unnerved whenever this part of the behind the scenes of Toy Story would come up on my VHS copy. And it's like, why would you show that to a kid, right? Hey, here's your favorite character as a gray blocky mesh with realistic eyes. Yeah, I mean, how about we skip over that part in the process, huh? Early 3D was weird, creepy shit. Remember the baby from Tin Toy? Oh, let me tell you, I was not a fan. I mean, I always laughed at how ugly it was, sure, but it was also unspeakably abhorrent. I feel like I need to sit down with whoever modeled that baby just to find out how many people he killed this week. And that's not even to mention the rendering glitches movies would show in behind the scenes or during end credits. Buzz Lightyear with normal eyes? Yes, please. Buzz Lightyear with chin eyes? Yeah, no thanks. But anyway, 8 years after it came out, they remade Super Mario 64 for the DS. That always blows my mind. Just 8 years were between the original and Super Mario 64 DS. It's kind of like whenever you remember that fun fact that there's less time between humans and the T-Rex existing than between the T-Rex and the Stegosaurus. They never fought. Ray Harryhausen lied to us, dude. This was crazy. Just 8 short years later, L was real, man. Just in a remake. I adored this game as a kid. Having all of the fun of Mario 64 on the go? Where's the sign-up sheet? Get in the car. And that wasn't the only draw. Due to, I assume, character popularity and working with a less limited piece of hardware, like I said, L became real. The concept of multiple characters was implemented into this version of the game. And I gotta say, it's very cool. While I feel like starting off Mario 64 with, Mario is iconic and kinda my preferred aesthetic, I think the idea of Mario and the gang getting abducted and starting off as Yoshi needing to save everyone is a really neat concept too. As a kid, it was almost weirdly revolutionary in that sense. The idea that Mario had gotten kidnapped had me spooked already. This was no joke of an adventure. The peril had already begun and you didn't even get to see it. Like I mentioned, having grew up on the Mario GBA ports, my opinion of the mustachioed plumber was high, of course. Even with him having been captured in Luigi's mansion, but I mean, that was revolutionary too. I also love that Peach invites really only Mario, but he shows up with his brother and I don't know, what is this, a libertarian? I'm sure Peach wouldn't mind, but that did always seem weird to me. What happened here? Did they intercept the letter? Was Luigi jealous? Was Wario looking for gold? The backstory here fascinates me. The manual even goes as far to call them party crashers, that's pretty fun. But they're all captured, and of course, as Yoshi, you're tasked with getting your boys back. Exploring the initial first few stars of the game as Yoshi, you'll end up getting your sea legs for the controls. They're pretty similar to the original. The athletics and physics haven't changed here much at all. Characters have their own specific weight to them for sure, and I always found that interesting. Yoshi, first and foremost, has his flutter jump that he's famous for, and he has the tongue move too, of course. And he can make eggs! I always forget Yoshi can do this. It's a bit of a trade-off because the tongue action bars him from doing the coolest moves like diving and punching because they're all tied to the A button, but I'd say the eggs relatively makes up for that. Just like in, Yoshi games, you can eat enemies, turn them into eggs, and throw them at other enemies. It even chains. That's new. But when I was a kid, I never did up the egg strat for some reason. I think I straight up almost always just spat bad guys out like immediately. Well, I mean, at least I don't spit anymore. I've learned how to swallow. It's really not that hard, you just don't hit the A button again. But honestly, I highly prefer Mario's moveset. Here we go! While Yoshi's fun and that flutter jump is convenient when you need it, I'd rather have wall jumping TBH. That's kind of odd. So Mario's the only one in the game who can wall jump? A couple signs tell you this at certain points, but for some reason I always forget that fact. I get Wario, he's a big boy, and even Yoshi to an extent, he have big nose. But why Luigi? Always seemed weird to me that he wouldn't be able to. So as usual, Mario's the best all-around character and the least specialized. But I do enjoy that about my generic lad. You're able to unlock Mario after a certain series of events. Once you get 1 star, you can get into the character hall and then the rec room where you can access the minigames in-game rather than just from the title screen. Oh, and okay, while we're on the subject, before we get to Mario, I gotta make sure I talk about the minigames. I truly have no idea how many countless hours I spent on these weird things, which I have no problem with, because for the most part, they're all really solid, just little time wasters. Some of their concepts are strange, yeah, but I'm not sure if I can directly point to one that's just outright not fun, I remember some of my favorites at the time were Sword or Splode, Slot Shot, Trampoline Time, and finally, Shell Smash. I can, to this day, still spend hours watching Koopa shells bounce around between the DS screens. Weirdly entertaining for my dumb 8 brain. Oh yeah, and Wanted's fun too, but really for only like 1 round. And I've definitely played a few rounds of Loves Me back in 4th grade, trying to supernaturally figure out whether or not my crush liked me. Oh yeah, and honorable mentions, of course, to Bomb Squad, Bingo Ball, and all the Dealer Luigi games. I love acquiring a gambling addiction from Super Mario 64 DS for the Nintendo DS. I can't stop playing Paragon and on. Is that bad? I mean, I don't even know if that shit is like a real world equivalent. Maybe I'm just stupid. Now that I think about it, I kind of like how these are the modern solution to like the card games in Mario 3, And wait, I mean, Mario 2 had slots even. What? Has Mario been teaching us gambling this whole time? Welcome to Game Theory. All these games are a pretty good time. Fun distraction from the main game if, you get bored of it or something. And you actually unlock the mini games from within the main game, interestingly enough. You do so by catching all of these wascally weapons located around the castle. There's an insane number of them too, like, oh my god, who left the pen unlocked? Good lord. These rabbits are multiplying like me and your mom. Toad tells you that they ran off with all the keys to the princess's drawers. I'd say this was a really good idea. It gave the game a weird meta of trying to hunt down some of the more hard-to-reach rabbits. I'm pretty sure one of Luigi's is on top of the castle, for Christ's sake. Yeah, each playable character has rabbits exclusive to them, which are colored specifically to fit the designs of who's hunting for them. Each one you snag nets you 1 key to unlock a minigame. But really, all that's just supplemental to the real shit. When you get a solid 8 starinos, this door at the back of the rec room unlocks, in which you can grab you some Mario, baby! His painting leads to the new stage, Goombas Battle. While the name makes it sound like it's only a boss fight, it's actually a pretty sprawling level too. Oh yeah, this was weird. Yoshi's arms got stuck like this at one point. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I always really liked this stage for how different it was. It has the hazy effect from Hazy Maze Cave, except it's out in the open, and it seems to just exist as this kind of creepy forest. The colors work really well, and I like the way it's designed. A lot of the challenges here are cool, but as Yoshi, you can't do most of them. What you can do is make your way to the Goom Boss, who's pretty much just the Goomba King from Paper Mario, but given a different name for some reason. I can't tell you how much I loved this as a kid. Seeing new iteration on Mario enemies and characters gives me life, man. Man, I should really get around to playing Paper Mario sometime. With how much I love Mario and Luigi, I'll probably adore it. This is a big factor as to why I love Hiker Wario, Cowboy Wario, WarioWare Wario. Same with much like the Cowboy and Hiker Wario, Mario Kart Tour exclusive Wintertime Peach and Aurora Rosalina. And you know what? Don't even get me started with gynecologist Toad. I'd almost play Mario Kart Tour just for the character skins alone, but that implies me caring about Mario Kart Tour, which that's never gonna happen. Anyway, beating the Goomba King, Goomboss, whatever, gets you Mario's key, and you can finally jump and leap as almost everyone's favorite denim sporting superhero plumber.
It's me, Mario.
Now this looks like Mario 64. The iconic locations, the classic battles, the Mario. I really cannot emphasize enough how good it feels when you unlock Mario in this game. It happens pretty quick, but still, that feeling, oh, it's good. And now that you got Mario, means you can take on Bowser too. The Bowser stages in this game are fun. I like them a lot. They're practically identical to the originals. The only thing that's really added here are star switches where you can step on them and then a star appears somewhere across the map and you have to run to get it before time runs out. They're fun little challenges to take care of, but the main attraction, the Bowser fights look great. I think I prefer the shading in the original. I think they did like a texture map or something on like some color pattern to make Bowser look like that. So I do kind of miss the crazy vibe the original gave off in these, but I gotta admit, the modernized versions are really fun too. And of course, it's absolutely still funny to say, so long, Gay Bowser. Man, it's been so long, he's now head of Nintendo. Who'd have thunk? But yeah, just to emphasize, I love Mario. He's a lot of people's favorite, but he ain't mine. Luggy, on the other hand, he's a delight.
Luigi.
It's still so weird seeing him in this game, man. He jumps higher and spins after his backflips. You have to unlock him by finding his painting in Big Boo's haunt and then beating the hell out of King Boo in Big Boo Battle. I don't know why the level's called Big Boo Battle and not King Boo Battle though, that always bothered me. It's kind of interesting that the characters are locked behind paintings just because of how weirdly Luigi's Mansion that is. It's funny you can defeat King Boo this way, I thought ghosts don't die. But committing regicide gets you Luigi's key, and all it took was killing Reggie Fils-Aimé, God rest his soul. In a video game.
Oh yeah.
You're Reggie. You work for Nintendo.
Not anymore!
And you know what, like Yoshi, Luigi has a signature characteristic to his jumps too. I never knew what to call this, but it would always crack me up whenever I played Mario 2 as a kid, and I love that they went on to put it into the GBA ports. He's a little speedster too, and he also can walk on water for a short period. I don't really understand the utility of that one, to be honest. And who does he think he is? Peter, apostle of Jesus Christ? That's the one in the story, right? Okay. But even with all those differences, Luigi kind of feels like most of his abilities were tacked on, which is a shame, just because I don't end up using them that much. I do like his moveset. When I remember it, it's useful for sure, but to an extent, he's kind of just a Mario reskin with Toad harassment. The Toads around the castle are super mean to Luigi, dude. What's their deal? I know it's kind of an in-joke that Luigi is always in Mario's shadow at least, but geez, this game really goes off the rails with it if you ask me. Huh? Who are you? Oh yes, Luigi, right? You're always in Mario's shadow, so I didn't recognize you at first. Won't you please retrieve the Power Stars, Luigi? But don't get in Mario's way or anything. What? You're Luigi? The world's most inept and least charismatic brother? Wow, can you introduce me to Mario? Huh? Did we meet the other day? I totally forgot, you're not very memorable. I guess your brother got all the charisma in the family, huh? You're the best supporting actor the world's ever seen. Guarding Mario is great. If you were a bit more assertive, you could definitely move into a leading role. Oh yeah, I remember the year of Luigi. You mean the year Nintendo lost a shitload of money?
Whoa.
Ugh, why do the Toads talk to him like this? It's super not cool. I want to noogie their fucking squishy little mushroom heads. But finally, we have the big boss, Wario.
Wario.
I've always been a huge Wario fan. He's such a weirdo. As a kid, my first introduction to him was my time enjoying Wario Land 4, which was a great time, but that's a story for another video. I also had Super Mario Land 2 6 golden coins at one point, which was his first appearance. What a strange character. He's very much designed to be an antagonist, but now he's just kind of a greedy bastard. And I also can't forget he's like an indie game dev publisher now or some shit. Wario really is just the perfect anti-hero. With all those power-ups, Wario could easily beat Venom and Shadow in a fight. You unlock him by doing something different with the classic mirror vanish trick. You know how the hint to the Snowman Land's portrait is that it's in the mirror but not in the normal room? Well, Wario's portrait is only on the mirror side. Yeah, it's odd. Using this power to get in here lets you into the Chief Chili Challenge, and this guy'll talk your mustache all day long. But icing him gets you Wario's key. It's a great time to wear yellow and be greedy. And here's something fun. Apparently this is a very rare render exclusive to some guidebook of Wario throwing Luigi to Kingdom Come. God, I love this. Wario's wearing such an ambiguous expression, like you can interpret his face to mean anything. You could say that you see him taking joy in flinging Luigi like sandbag, but I tend to more read his face as just feeling nothing. He doesn't really look satisfied, like a hitman who takes no joy in his work. Wario walks funny. He's discernibly heavier than the other two, like you actually can really feel it when playing. I kinda dig that. It makes some jumps utterly impossible with him, of course, and just like Luigi, he can't wall jump, so the acrobatics take a hit, but I find myself just enjoying playing as him regardless. It's just kind of insane seeing him in Peach's castle. I feel like in the years I've loved Wario as a character, I always associate him with the weird parts of the Mushroom Kingdom, or not even just a part of the Mushroom Kingdom, but the whole Mario universe. He's out there, man. Have you seen some of his game's bosses? So associating him with that world so much more than the normal of most Mario games makes it a bit jarring when he's seen here, at least for me. For some reason I don't get that in the Mario Kart, Party, or Sports titles, probably because those are meant to be ensemble cast games in and of themselves, but still, the effect for me is probably not as bad as someone who never played the game and only grew up with the original. As like I said, I was into this sucker religiously, but it's still a bit wild to see Wario in like Jolly Roger Bay, and I kind of adore this game for just that alone. When Wario punches a Goomba, it goes flying. It's really funny. I love Wario's noises in this game, man. He growls and yells and screeches. It's pretty damn entertaining. Just what a strange dude. I love him for how bizarre his entire existence is though, and even though it's borderline outlandish seeing him in most of the game's locations, I'm just such a huge fan of it. I love how the Toads are like kinda scared of him too. That always gave me a chuckle. Also, Wario without his hat is beyond cursed. So that's all for the characters. But, you know, I do feel like this game's kinda just missing something though. Yeah, while my love for Wario's weirdness does make me wish we had access to his purple counterpart in this title too. I mean, hey, can't win them all. As a kid, I was nearly obsessed with the idea that Waluigi was like hidden in the game somewhere. I was convinced that there had to be a way to unlock him, but sadly, there doesn't seem to be. I remember this image circulating, purple prizes, in which some rando used Photoshop to convince a whole bunch of dumb kids, including myself, that Waluigi was real and that there was some strange trick to getting him. Find all the stars and be the fastest foot racer in the land. What does that even mean, man? But like, credit where credit's due, this is pretty damn well made. The supposed guy, Andrew Brown, even wrote an article for Nintendo World Report in 2011 about how he tricked everyone. It was apparently an April Fool's joke. He put Waluigi's hat on the chain chomp, posed him in the rec room, the castle entrance, and even described some of his just made up special moves, which was a spring-loaded jump. What a cheater! And a powerful breakneck speed thanks to his lanky legs. What a damaging graphic this must have been to the sanity of so many adolescents. People say Facebook ruined their ability to discern fact from fiction online. I mean, for me, it all traces back to purple prizes, buddy. Man, what would Waluigi's boss even be? Oh, purple prizes says it's the Rabbit King. That's actually kind of fitting, I like that. Okay, speaking of the rabbits again, sometimes, if you're lucky, once in a blue moon, on Friday the goddamn 13th, you just might encounter a sparkling white rabbit instead of one of the normal ones your character would encounter in whatever area you happen to be in. So of course, you're gonna grab them as fast as you can because it's genuinely shocking coming across one. As a kid, I lost my mind the first time this happened. And when they told you what they were for, it gets even more intriguing. They say they stole the key to the fourth door in the character room, and that you have to catch 8 of them to get the key. So, you know, of course, Waluigi's waiting for me in there, guys. He's gotta be. But once you finally get them all, if you even take the time to, I did, you'll find that it's just another secret star. Young Adam was genuinely upset for like a whole day after that. Aw man, and speaking of secrets, as a kid, I wasn't familiar with a lot of the traditional Mario 64 secrets, so I genuinely discovered shifting Sandland by accident. No joke, I was going for a rabbit and just dove right in. It was actually pretty awesome. But that's enough reminiscing for now. When it comes to the levels, they're all here. Everything from Super Mario 64 is present in SM64 DS, just with some textures changed and some very small alterations in certain places. Enemies were mostly untouched except for updating them to the modern Mario aesthetic. Goombas are actually now mushroom-shaped, and those spiders were made to look less nightmare-fuely, even though I personally like the old design better. The skyboxes are now slightly more detailed, which is awesome. The original looked good, but could be a bit simplistic. And there's even new levels now. Other than the character unlock ones, there's 2 totally new areas which are smaller than the regular levels but are awesome regardless. To complement the princess's secret slide and the secret aquarium, there's the secret of Battlefort, its entrance being found in the castle courtyard. Then there's Sunshine Isles. In the rec room, there's a painting of a sunny island that you can hop into as anyone and collect the 5 silver stars. That's another thing this version adds, new missions, and in certain ones there are 5 silver stars to collect that will earn you a full star. So, as you can see, it's a pretty faithful remake, just with some fun extras. It doesn't deviate much from the original maps its N64 predecessor provided as blueprints, for better or worse. It's nice that kids like myself who grew up with it got a chance to experience basically the same game on their own, just with a few small changes. But I do feel like it would have been neat if it was a bit more dramatically different in some places. For example, in some old E3 footage, you can see that the grounds outside the castle used to be much more expansive. Plus, the surrounding area backdrops were filled with mountains, and I don't know about you, but I think it's super pretty. Makes me want someone to recreate this map in a ROM hack. Like, please do. And speaking of ROM hacks, you would not believe how many there are for Super Mario 64 DS. I mean, I was surprised when I found out. I thought no one cared about this game but me. Some look really cool and of course have their own stories, stars, and challenge factors. The most notable ones I'm aware of are another Super Mario 3D, Super Mario Sunshine DS, Super Mario The New Beginning, and Super Mario Journey Lane. There are a bunch more, of course, and for an actual overview, I'd absolutely recommend that's Gilly the Kid's video on, you guessed it, Super Mario 64 DS ROM hacks. It's super comprehensive and goes over the ones I mentioned. Also, I just remembered, Wario has long sleeves in the E3 trailers. How whack is that? Now, what's definitely unique about this remake are the abilities, specifically the distribution of them among the characters. I'm not sure if I at all prefer the system implemented here over the original, but let's just talk about it first. So in Mario 64, there were 3 power-ups, right? The Metal Cap, which turned you into Metal Mario, the Vanish Cap, which turned you into Vanish Mario, and the Wing Cap, which lets you fly. And by the way, this specific footage is from the Render 96 reskin mod. All it does is make Mario 64 look the way it did in the promotional material. It's really cool stuff, just wanted to give them a shout out. But you see, in Super Mario 64 DS, they kinda just took those abilities and gave each one to a specific character, which is interesting, but I kinda find it a bit annoying. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. Let's keep going. Mario, of course, retains his wing cap abilities. It's iconic. They couldn't take that from our boy, except now it's a feather? However, Luigi got the Vanish ability, so he can pass through metal grates, mirrors, the whole 9 yards. And Wario got the metal powers, which lets him be just a total powerhouse. So that means you can only access Wario's painting as Luigi. It's weird, isn't it? And they don't even get these powers from caps. See, there's something this time around called the Power Flower. Yeah, when you get it, you're able to use an ability specific to the character you're playing as at that particular time. It's context sensitive. Luigi's is Vanish, Wario's is Metal, and actually Yoshi and Mario have abilities too. Yoshi gets Fire Breath, crucial to some missions, and Mario blows up like a balloon to a similar extent that the P-Balloon would in Super Mario World. You go, whoop. But Adam, I can hear yourself asking, what if I'm on a star that needs the Vanish ability or Metal powers and I don't feel like going all the way back to the character select room? Well, my 5-year-old YouTube viewer, thankfully you don't have to. From the very beginning, Super Mario 64 DS introduces the concept of character caps. These basically just turn you into whatever character whose hat it is. It's super handy, but honestly, I'm not huge on it. While it's fun and very cursed to hear the voice of one character while seeing another, specifically hearing Luigi while having Wario's cap on, that shit's hilarious.
Whoa!
For some reason, I have this weird feeling of not wanting to put the cap of another character on while I'm playing as someone else. I'm a cap purist. Or a capist, I guess, take your pick. Like, bro, I picked Luigi. I'd like to play as Luigi. You feel? I mean, it's a weird point of contention, but it's just how I feel, man. I can't describe it. If only I could find a purple cap and make all my dreams come true. So that's Super Mario 64 DS. Even with some of its weirdness, I love it, and feel like it should be talked about way more. I mean, come on, just the impact of how surreal it is getting to see all 4 protagonists in this game's ending. I mean, I feel like I could write a 15-page essay on it. You know, for all it carries with it from the original, I'd say it definitely both retains, yet slightly refines the weird, uneasy feeling the original could give you. While the component of weird early 3D is missing, it carries that tension on the back of its secrets. There are so many little oddities about SM64DS that give off the impression that there's so much more to see and do. Like the new hidden levels in the castle courtyard and rec room, all of the character levels, and how weird the idea of changing characters is. It all leads you to feeling like there's something more going on here. And as much as I'd like there to be, there's not much to go on. Man, I remember back in the day, this weird square on the castle in the game's title screen was considered an anomaly and some weird clue for unlocking Waluigi. I mean, they always said if you jumped at it in just the right way, you'd be able to get... I knew it! Waluigi can run, he can jump, he can fly? Okay, well, never mind that. He's so good! He has crazy bad luck, but man, I don't even care. It's worth it. He's reviled by all the Toads. Not even Bowser wants to fight him. He blows up like a balloon. Okay, well, he loves hanging out with his pet Chain Chomp. He loves the secret levels. He's a foot race shoo-in. He's not real. I'm just messing around if that wasn't already obvious. It's just a ROM hack that replaces Mario with Waluigi. It's just such a shame, man. I don't even really like him as a character that much. He's just so intriguing, though. You know, Wait a minute. If red is for Mario, green is for Yoshi and Luigi, yellow is for Wario, then who's purple for? Oh my god! The Wario apparition, the circle colors, wet dry world, the main menu, the castle hole, the fourth door, purple rabbit, purple prizes, it all makes sense now. Super Mario 64 was released in 1996. 8 years later, it got a remake. Super Mario 64 DS came out in 2004. Double that 8-year gap, you get 16 years. It's currently 2020. Thus, a new remake will arrive this year, 16 years after Super Mario 64 DS. There's still time, I swear to God, I can't, this is flawless logic. He is coming. He is coming and we must prepare. Waluigi will arrive. He must. He has to. If he doesn't, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Alright, so I start marching my way down to Wario and his door, and I knock on his door and I say, Wario, I gotta talk to you about your brother. And I open the door and what do I find? There's not a single goddamn man in that room. There is no Wario in his door. Jack, half these characters are made up. This franchise is a goddamn ghost town.
Okay, Adam, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Not only is Wario actually in the game, but Waluigi's in plenty of other games. Why don't you just play Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games?
That's a great point. Don't you think so, Wally?
Who?
No, Wally. He's the guy who tipped me off to Waluigi.
Who the hell is Wally?
You don't see... Oh, shit. Where the hell are the...
You've lost your mind. You've lost your goddamn mind, Adam.
Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games!
God, this game sucks.
Why isn't Waluigi in any of the mainline Mario games?
Mario DDR does not count.
What would that even be like?
I don't know, man. At this point, it's just weird that he's, like, excluded. And why is this the prettiest Wii box art? Wally. No.
Okay, but here's how it could still happen, guys.